Bonjour, je suis not manly, et ici le voyage d'espace je ne sais quoi. This is, well, it's part 11 and a half because I am behind in putting up new episodes. Our next destination is the gas giant of Jool, but we're going to need something a little more powerful than the monsters we've been sending out to Moho and various other places. So that's where this monstrosity comes in. We're sending it at least up to high space on 8 twin-bore engines and liquid fuel and oxidizer to spare. We have to send it up this way because this is a very, very specialized piece of propulsion. It's actually going to be featured in Kerbal Space Program 2.0 when it eventually comes out. But we're just going to get this thing up to high space first, at least get it up to apoapsis before we detach those twin bores, and we expose what it is. Now, if you have seen this before, well, this is a variant of it. This is produced by Rover Dude, and it's actually one of two different kinds here. You may be familiar with the Orion nuclear pulse engine, which was a proposal to get out to the likes of Saturn and stuff in the real-world system. Well, this is the Medusa nuclear pulse engine. In-game, it costs about 4.8 million funds when you count in there 2.0 million funds in ammunition. It's a 5-meter part. You cannot surface attach other parts, which is why I have those adaptive fuel tanks up there. It has a ridiculous thrust, an even more ridiculous specific impulse, and it has no throttle. It's either on or off. And there it goes. It spits out 250 kiloton nuclear bombs into that giant sail to drag this thing along. I'm going to use it as the head of a locomotive to put together a pain train, I'm going to call it, to go out to Jool. With that kind of specific impulse and that kind of thrust, well, we'll have no problem getting out to the likes of Jool and Lindor. And because we have all those adaptive fuel tanks and all the extra fuel, I attached some Twitch engines in there for precision maneuvering as such. And there we go. So, attached to the pain train, we're going to send up the crew module for the Jool 5. And yes, we are going to visit all 5 moons of Jool. This crew hab module consists of a 4-crew hitchhiker module, a 3-seat command pod, some basic propulsion of its own, and some comms relays so that we can have pilots remotely control the other craft that we'll be sending out to Jool, at least until we can get some relay satellites out there. This is the hab in all of its glory with some RA-100 antennas. We don't want any excuses for not being able to reach our craft. And Julie Kerman here is manning this mission so that we can get these pieces all strutted up once they are docked together. The largest docking ports we have are these 2.5 meter Clampotron Senior docking ports. They're really the only way we're going to be able to get these big things together. Both of these parts have the RGS probe core, so they have automatic targeting or RCS target hold, there we go, or SAS target hold, and there we go. This is the first piece of the pain train, and those docking ports are not likely to cut it by itself, so after we turn those engines off, we'll send out Julie to use EVA struts to attach those things together. Don't worry, I know I'm not strutting these things up properly here. I come back out and I fix this later. Now this is just part 1. We've got 4 other parts. These are the rovers that we're going to be sending out with our pain train out to Jool. You may recognize the design once we get the fairings apart. These actually are our landers, and we've learned lessons from the Moho and Duna landers to build landers for Vol and Tylo. We also have a rover/lander for Bob and Paul, and well, there's no way I'm going to Lathe without bringing a space plane along. That space plane is a single stage to orbit craft for the use on Lathe. It's fully fueled, and you'll be able to see it in action in a couple of episodes. And with all these joined together, we'll be able to send out Julie Kerman to strut this thing together. I take it for a quick test run out to the moon here, just to see how ridiculous the thrust and delta V of this thing is. Fully assembled, well, I don't have all the numbers up here. I will show them before we head out to Jool. But suffice to say that with that full load of of quarter megaton bombs. This thing has a delta V of over 70 kilometers per second. And 2 Gs of thrust, look at that. So yeah, there's no kill like overkill. And then those precision thrusters will help us fix our inclination. Anyway, I reset that back to an earlier save. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing again. And we sent up another Medusa engine, and we're sending up now all the rovers. These are the rovers, actually. We've got one for Lathe, Vol, and Tylo, and we have a couple of probes that are going to be dumped into the atmosphere of Jool. We're going to try to get some atmospheric science above the surface. Well, in Jool's atmosphere, anyway. There we go. And this craft is even heavier. We sent up Doug Kerman in one of the rovers to strut these things together, and well, that'll do for now until we can get this thing out to Jool. Until then, I'm not manly. Fly safe.